man. Yeah, definitely.
This was the clash no one expected to happen so soon, though fans had been guessing for weeks, at least when it came to a fight in the ring. Just hours after some fiery back and forth through the media, Crawford and Canelo Alvarez took things beyond talk, straight to an airport face-off. Here's how it began. The tension started building a few days earlier. Fresh off his victory over Madoff, Terence Crawford, who's never been shy about wanting to face Canelo Alvarez, went live on Instagram with His Excellency Turki Alshik, and during that session, both of them publicly called out Canelo.
Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
Yeah, just put me in the game, coach. Just put me in the game. Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight.
Since then, Crawford hasn't stopped talking about the fight, calling Canelo a duck for avoiding real talks about making it happen. His comment was aimed at Canelo's hesitation to take the match seriously, a match that many believe could be one of the biggest boxing events in recent times. After Edgar Berlanga's most recent fight, Canelo was asked in a post-fight interview about Crawford's challenge. At first, he brushed it off with a cold and simple response, no comment.
On the internet with Turki Alshik calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
But when pushed again, Canelo didn't stay quiet. He flat out rejected Crawford's challenge, calling the welterweight champ too easy and too small for him. Canelo made it clear he didn't view Crawford as a real threat, suggesting that taking the fight wouldn't be worth his time or effort.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want $200 million for Benavidez, and he want $150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him.
That should have ended it, but for Crawford, it was the last straw. Things heated up fast when the two unexpectedly ran into each other at the airport terminal. Both had their teams with them, but neither looked ready to back off, especially Crawford. Still angry over Canelo's too easy remark, Crawford reportedly stepped up and confronted him, and almost right away, the situation turned physical.
Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk.
What makes all this more surprising is that not long ago, Crawford had actually shown respect for Canelo. In Canelo's recent fight against Berlanga, he once again proved why he's seen as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He dropped Berlanga early and stayed in control for most of the fight, even though Berlanga showed toughness and fought hard to bounce back. As expected, Canelo's performance left no question that he's still the king of the super middleweight division. Watching from the sidelines, Crawford couldn't help but recognize the Mexican champion's skill. I went to the Canelo Berlanga fight first, then headed to the UFC event, Crawford said when asked about Canelo's performance. I think Canelo did great, like he always does. Canelo was just being Canelo. I also think Berlanga put on a solid show. He showed real heart and strong determination. It turned out to be a great fight. Crawford's praise for both fighters showed his genuine respect for the sport, but it also highlighted his strong desire to face Canelo. Now competing at super welterweight, Crawford has set his sights on Canelo as his next big test. And according to him, he won't stop until the fight happens. It would require Crawford to move up 2 weight classes, but he doesn't seem concerned about the size gap. For him, taking on Canelo is all about securing his legacy in boxing.
At the end of the day, they're 2 great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, Canelo, he's a big dude. So I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, to make the biggest fights and try.
Crawford's victory over Israil Madrimov was his first fight going the full distance in 8 years, which made some experts wonder if his power is fading as he moves up in weight. Madrimov, a strong and tough fighter, pushed Crawford all the way, making it a close fight. While Crawford's power is still one of his key strengths, the real question is how it will hold up against someone like Canelo, who has repeatedly shown he can take on the hardest punches in boxing.
Power of Jamel Charlo couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Jaime Munguia couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Triple G couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Kovalev couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Berlanga couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Daniel Jacobs couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Caleb Plant couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. ¿Qué Buck Crawford le va a hacer a ese tigre? Ustedes no vieron Buck Crawford versus Mastromov. What power did Buck Crawford have? Put me in the game, coach. No, you're the 15th man in the roster. You will sit in the bench. Well, you got...
Despite these doubts, Crawford remains confident. In the same interview, he made it clear that his wish to fight Canelo hasn't changed. He believes it's the fight everyone wants to see. I've been wanting this fight. It's a legacy fight, the biggest in boxing right now, Crawford said. I feel like this fight is the last of its kind. It would be huge. Two of the top 3 pound-for-pound fighters going head-to-head.
I feel like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. You know, we both coming in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound-for-pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So I think this fight will be massive.
Crawford's confidence shines when he talks about a possible fight with Canelo. He admits Canelo is bigger, but that doesn't scare him. In fact, it drives him even more. For Crawford, taking on tough opponents like Canelo is what boxing is all about. Pushing yourself to the limit and facing the best. I know Canelo is bigger than me, but I'm ready for the challenge, he said. It's all respect. If he comes my way and we get in the ring, it would be an exciting fight. And of course, I'll beat him. I have no doubt I can beat anyone I step in the ring with. Crawford's impressive career record supports his confidence, but a fight with Canelo would be a whole new challenge. Canelo is known for his power, sharp ring IQ, and experience, having beaten top fighters across multiple weight classes. Facing Crawford, who has ruled the lighter divisions, would be a battle of different styles, skills, and strengths. So far, Canelo hasn't committed to his next opponent. After the Berlanga fight, he said he plans to take some time off with his family before making a decision. This keeps the door open for many options, including a possible showdown with Crawford.
Terrence, any chance your kids become UFC champion?
No.
Why not?
They don't pay you enough.
Things are only getting more interesting from here. While Berlanga may have earned what some call a moral victory by lasting the full fight, for Canelo Alvarez, it was another night where his power made a strong impression, though he didn't deliver the knockout fans expected. This is the 4th fight in a row where Canelo knocked his opponent down, but ended up winning by decision. For someone with a legacy as big as Canelo's, this pattern might raise some questions, but he doesn't seem bothered. What else can they say? Canelo said after the fight, sounding frustrated with the constant criticism despite his success. I fight younger fighters, they complain. I fight older fighters, they talk. My experience, my talent, my hard work, and my smarts. All of it together makes me the best. It seems like no matter how many wins he racks up, it's never enough to quiet the doubters. But maybe it's not just about what he's done so far. It's about what's still to come.
Thank you.
Critics' concerns are hard to ignore. Since his loss to Dimitri Bivol in May 2022, Canelo has faced a series of fighters who, while skilled, aren't quite on his level. He was a huge favorite, minus 1,600, against Berlanga, and many are saying boxing's biggest star needs a real challenge to bring back excitement and risk to his career. That's where Terence Crawford comes in. Crawford sees himself as the next big challenger for Canelo. Known for his precision, speed, and ring IQ, Crawford compared moving up to fight Canelo to the famous 1983 bout between Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran. But this time, the smaller fighter wins. Before talks about Crawford versus Canelo get serious, though, another important fight is looming for Canelo. a possible rematch with Dimitri Bivol. Bivol, who outperformed Canelo in their first fight despite some close scorecards, will face Artur Beterbiev for the undisputed light heavyweight title. If Bivol wins, Canelo is ready for a rematch, aiming for redemption and the chance to become undisputed champion in a second weight class. This is where things really heat up. Canelo, never one to back down from a challenge, is driven by the memory of his loss to Bivol. "Nothing went right for me in that fight," Canelo said, referring to a left wrist injury that needed surgery after his third match with Gennady Golovkin in September 2022. The idea of Canelo returning at full strength to face Bivol again is exciting, but also risky, since Bivol showed just how tough he is in their first fight. As for Canelo, he had chances during the fight but didn't take them. Now, he faces the question of who he will fight next. Crawford said, "I don't know if Canelo wants to fight me, but I'm not ready for anyone else." If Canelo gets a rematch, he might be the underdog this time. Bivol is already a slight favorite against Artur Beterbiev, a fighter with a 100% knockout record who scares opponents. He has the skills to beat Beterbiev, Canelo said, making it clear he only wants to face Bivol, not Beterbiev. If Bivol loses in October, the chance of a rematch could disappear. And even if Bivol wins, there's still the challenge of moving up in weight.
Canelo had the options for rematch. He didn't use it. Now he gonna fight again against someone not for me. I don't know if he wants to fight me or not, but I'm not ready.
Canelo wants the rematch at 175 pounds, the weight class where Bivol previously defeated him. But Bivol, confident after proving he can beat Canelo at light heavyweight, has shown interest in a rematch at 168 pounds, where Canelo holds the undisputed super middleweight title. This weight debate matters a lot. It might seem small to casual fans, but for fighters at this level, those extra pounds can change everything. Canelo has an advantage. He brings the biggest payday Bivol could get, which might convince the Russian champion to accept a rematch.
Is there one guy that comes to mind? Is there one person?
Bivol maybe, just to get the rematch. Bivol maybe.
Bivol is one of the guys I have my rematch, you know. Like I say, if he wins the
match on Canelo's terms. Meanwhile, another name keeps coming up, David Benavidez. The young, eager Mexican-American has been pushing for a fight with Canelo, calling him out over and over to force the matchup. But even after Benavidez's strong showing against Alexander Zik, though hurt by a hand injury, Canelo doesn't seem interested. "He's fighting in my weight class, 175, and he doesn't look like he always does because it's different when you fight in your own weight class," Canelo said, brushing it off. For now, it seems the door is closed on a Canelo-Benavidez fight. But there's still one wild card. Crawford, the 37-year-old former the undisputed welterweight champion, recently moved up to 154 pounds, narrowly winning a decision against Ismail Madov, a tricky fighter many thought was underrated. Though not dominant, Crawford stays confident, setting his sights on Canelo as his next big challenge. The weight difference is a concern. Crawford has never fought above 154 pounds, while Canelo has been competing at 168 or higher for years. Still, Crawford isn't fazed by the size gap. "Being bigger doesn't win fights," he said, a statement that sums up his career, where he's defied the odds time and again. A fight between Canelo and Crawford would be huge, maybe the biggest non-heavyweight bout in boxing today. Fans are eager for this matchup between two top fighters. Though smaller, Crawford believes this fight defines his legacy and that he can win it. "I feel like it's a legacy fight, and I feel like I can actually win," he said. His record backs up his confidence. Stepping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo would shake up the boxing world. For Canelo, fighting Crawford is intriguing. He's a proven star. But as Canelo said, "If I beat him, no one's going to say, oh, he beat Crawford, because Canelo's a good fighter, pound for pound great too, but he's smaller." Canelo's motivation isn't just legacy anymore. It's about the payday, the excitement, and maybe one last big moment in his career. "If the money's right, why not at this moment in my career?" Canelo said, knowing that fights must make financial and competitive sense. Crawford admits that if the fight happens, the only real threats are Canelo's power and size. Still, he's not intimidated, confident his reach and speed can make up for those. But Canelo's clear irritation with the repeated questions about the fight shows he might be tired of Crawford's nonstop push. The Mexican star has already set his price, a staggering $150 million. Crawford isn't backing down, even though the chance of this fight happening seems small. Canelo's response has been clear. The $150 million price tag shows how much he values himself and that he won't agree unless the deal is right. Canelo is at his peak, with an impressive record and power that makes him a scary opponent for anyone, especially someone smaller like Crawford. Crawford's claim that he only needs to worry about Canelo's size and power sounds too simple, ignoring the many other dangers Canelo brings to the ring. Canelo has crushed opponents who were confident, and while Crawford's speed and reach might help, Canelo's smart tactics and ability to change during a fight are likely stronger. Crawford's confidence comes from his perfect record, 41 wins, no losses, and 31 knockouts. He has proven he belongs with the best and isn't afraid to face bigger fighters. He's fought larger opponents before and says this experience prepares him for Canelo. But many fans and experts think Crawford might be aiming too high. Canelo isn't just bigger. He has a mix of power, skill, and experience that could give Crawford serious trouble. Still, Crawford is determined to make this fight happen. Canelo has faced criticism for chasing a huge payday before retirement. Some say it's an easy move, especially when there are top fighters at 154 and 147 pounds he could face instead. Critics argue Crawford is looking for a shortcut to a big paycheck, and it's hard to completely disagree. The payout would be massive, and for a fighter nearing the end of his career, wanting a financial reward makes sense. But fans are starting to get tired of Crawford pushing so hard for a fight that might never happen. Despite all the buzz, Crawford believes a fight with Canelo would be huge. Two of the top pound-for-pound fighters going head-to-head. On paper, it sounds exciting. The smaller, faster Crawford against the bigger, stronger Canelo, a classic David versus Goliath story boxing fans love. But many feel this fight is more about the show than the sport. The real question is, does Crawford truly believe he can beat Canelo, or is this just about landing one last big payday? For Canelo, fighting Crawford might seem like a step back. He's already beaten top opponents and built a huge legacy. Canelo usually looks for fights that challenge him, like moving up in weight or facing tough fighters like Bivol or Caleb Plant. Fighting Crawford, who is smaller, might seem unfair, and even a win might not add much to his legacy. What do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you next time.